Welcome to our channel. Before we get started, please consider liking and subscribing so we can bring more stories like this to you.
As night fell over Tokyo, the city transformed into a kaleidoscope of neon lights and pulsating energy. Crowds thronged the streets, their laughter and chatter mingling with the distant sounds of music wafting through the air. The heart of this vibrant metropolis stood the gleaming Nakamura Tower, its glass facade reflecting the myriad colors of the city. Inside, a sense of anticipation crackled like electricity. A celebrated concert pianist was set to perform, drawing a diverse audience eager for an unforgettable night. However, unbeknownst to the throngs gathering below, danger lurked within the towering structure. The smooth hum of technology masked a lurking threat. A cybergang had meticulously plotted their heist, aiming to turn this night of beauty into one of chaos. As the clock neared showtime, they executed their plan, severing power to the skyscraper in one swift motion. Elevators ground to a halt, and panic rippled through the crowd as lights flickered ominously. Inside one of those glass elevators, the pianist found herself trapped, her fate hanging by a thread as darkness enveloped the building and tension mounted in every whisper of the night. In the shadows of Nakamura Tower, the cybergang, known as the Phantom Serpents, prepared to execute their meticulously crafted plan. Driven by a thirst for power and notoriety, their leader, a brilliant yet ruthless hacker named Kaido, sought to disrupt the city's harmony while showcasing his technical prowess. Underneath the surface of Tokyo's nightlife, they worked swiftly to breach the building's security systems, using sophisticated equipment to sever the power supply as the concert drew near. With darkness flooding the tower, alarms blared and panic set in among the crowd below, creating the perfect distraction for their heist. Meanwhile, Kaido's team rigged the glass elevator with explosives, turning it into a ticking time bomb. The pianist, blissfully unaware of the fate that awaited her, was trapped within this fragile prison that now hung perilously above the ground. The gang plotted to use this chaos as leverage, aiming to demand a hefty ransom from city officials while sending a message to anyone who dared defy them. In an instant, the thrill of music was replaced by an atmosphere of dread. Every second counted as Jason Statham prepared to face this looming nightmare head-on. Amid the chaos unfolding in Nakamura Tower, Jason Statham emerged as the embodiment of courage and resourcefulness. A former Special Forces operative turned crisis responder, he had built a reputation for tackling high-stakes situations with a cool demeanor and unparalleled skill. His keen instincts and physical prowess made him a formidable force, capable of adapting to any challenge that arose. Motivated by a strong moral compass, Jason felt an unwavering responsibility to protect those who couldn't defend themselves. The moment he learned about the cybergang's plot, he sprang into action, knowing that every second counted. With his extensive training in combat and emergency response, he was well equipped to navigate the treacherous environment of the skyscraper, armed with nothing but a flashlight and sheer determination. Jason visualized each step of his approach as he prepared to scale the elevator shaft. His mind raced through potential scenarios. He would need to disarm explosives while ensuring the pianist's safety, all while staying one step ahead of Kaido and his gang. This was more than just another mission. It was an opportunity for Jason to demonstrate his commitment to justice in a world increasingly overshadowed by chaos. Inside the glass elevator, the atmosphere was thick with dread as the celebrated pianist struggled against her constraints. With the lights flickering ominously and the hum of the building replaced by a heavy silence, she could feel time slipping away. To her shock, she noticed the digital countdown ticking away on a small screen embedded in the elevator's control panel. A cruel reminder that the bomb rigged within was set to detonate in only minutes. Each passing second added to her anxiety as she stared helplessly at the intricate wiring surrounding the explosive device. Panic clawed at her throat, but she steadied her breathing, knowing that staying calm was crucial. She replayed every moment leading up to the power outage in her mind, wondering how she had ended up trapped in this fragile prison suspended high above the ground. Outside, chaos reigned as concertgoers fled in fear, yet within her glass fortress it felt eerily still. The weight of responsibility loomed over her, not just for her life, but for the lives of those below who would be affected if the bomb exploded. Her heart raced as she prayed for a savior who could dismantle the threat before time ran out. With a deep breath to steady himself, Jason Statham approached the elevator shaft, its darkened depths yawning before him like a gaping maw. Armed only with a flashlight, he switched it on, the beam cutting through the darkness and illuminating the rough walls of steel and concrete. Each pulse of light flickered across cables and mechanical components, revealing the precarious nature of his climb. He began his ascent, Every muscle in his body coiled with tension as he carefully found handholds. Between the metal beams, the echo of his movements resounded in the confined space, amplifying the urgency of the situation. As he climbed higher, the faint sound of alarms echoed from below, a reminder that time was slipping away. With each floor he passed, he felt a growing sense of responsibility. Every second could mean life or death for the pianist trapped above him. He navigated through shadows, remaining hyper-aware of any loose cables or obstacles that could hinder his progress. Jason's heart raced not just from exertion but from the pressure to succeed. Failure wasn't an option. He steeled his resolve as he approached the elevator's top, ready to confront whatever awaited him in his mission to save her. Reaching the top of the elevator shaft, Jason Statham peered into the cramped compartment where the pianist was trapped. The dim glow of his flashlight illuminated the intricate mesh of wires and circuits surrounding the bomb mechanism. He took a moment to assess the situation, his mind racing through strategies as he recalled his training in explosives. With steady hands, he carefully opened the access panel, revealing a tangle of colored wires. Time was slipping away, and he knew that one wrong move could spell disaster. He began by identifying the main charge, tracing it back to its connection with the elevator's control system. Jason's heart pounded as he clipped away unnecessary wires with precision, each snip accompanied by a rush of adrenaline. Floor by floor, he worked, methodically, allowing brief moments for silent prayers and deep breaths to maintain focus. His intuition guided him as he disarmed additional charges, each successful step bolstering his confidence. Just as he finished disarming the last explosive on one level, a faint tremor shook the building, a reminder that the gang might be onto him. Time was running out and every second felt like an eternity as he prepared to confront the final challenge ahead. With the final charge disarmed, Jason took a moment to catch his breath before turning towards the glass elevator where the pianist awaited. As he opened the door, he was met with a panicked but determined gaze. "You came," she whispered, her voice trembling but resolute despite the fear etched on her face. "I'm here to get you out," he replied, scanning their surroundings for any signs of danger. The ticking clock still echoed in his mind, reminding him that they were racing against time. He quickly assessed her restraints and began working to free her, all while casting anxious glances back at the elevator's control panel. "Do you know how to disable it?" she asked, eyes wide with urgency as he deftly unclipped the bindings around her wrists. Jason nodded, adrenaline coursing through him. "I disarmed the explosives, now we just need to get out of here before it's too late." With a final tug, he freed her from captivity. A moment of connection passed between them, an unspoken bond forged in crisis as they both understood that escaping this nightmare was just the beginning of their fight for survival. Together, they prepared for their daring leap down the elevator shaft into the unknown below. With adrenaline surging through their veins, Jason and the pianist fastened themselves to the makeshift harness he had rigged together. He took a deep breath, glancing down into the koi pond that shimmered far below, its surface rippling in the reflection of overhead lights. "On three," he said, trying to keep his voice steady despite the chaos around them. They counted together, their hearts racing in sync. As they began their descent, the world above them erupted in a cacophony of noises, shouting from the cyber gang, the sound of snapping cables, and the tension of the moment hung heavily in the air. Just as they reached the halfway point, a sudden jolt sent a shockwave through the lines, causing Jason to grip the rope tighter. "Hold on," he shouted as he felt one of the cables snap above them. With a final push, they dropped down into the koi pond with a splash that sent water cascading in every direction. The impact jolted them but propelled them into the protective embrace of the water. For a moment, they paused to catch their breath amid the chaos, now submerged in tranquility, a brief sanctuary before they had to face what awaited them above. Emerging from the koi pond, Jason and the pianist gasped for air, the adrenaline of their escape still coursing through their veins. As they pulled themselves onto the bank, the reality of their ordeal began to sink in. They exchanged a look of relief and gratitude, each understanding the magnitude of what they had just faced together. Jason felt a profound sense of accomplishment, knowing that his swift actions had not only saved a life but also thwarted the cybergang's sinister plans, at least for now. However, as sirens echoed in the distance and rescue teams flooded the scene, Jason couldn't shake off the feeling that this was merely a temporary victory. The Phantom Serpents were still out there, their motives unfulfilled and their threat looming larger than ever. He reflected on the bravery it took to confront danger head-on and how teamwork had been essential in overcoming such perilous odds. The pianist, shaken but resilient, vowed to continue her music career, inspired by their Shared experience. Together, they had forged an unbreakable bond through adversity. As the night sky began to lighten, Jason knew this was just one chapter in an ongoing battle against chaos, and he would be ready for whatever came next. As dawn broke over Tokyo, the city began to stir back to life, but Jason Statham remained vigilant, acutely aware that the Phantom Serpents had not been fully dismantled. The escape from Nakamura Tower was merely a temporary reprieve. Their leader, Kaido, was still at large, and Jason felt a deep sense of unease about what his next move might be. In the distance, he spotted a flicker of movement near the skyscraper's base. A shadowy figure that slipped into an alley before disappearing from view. It was a reminder that the cybergang still held influence, and their motives for chaos were far from extinguished. Jason exchanged a knowing glance with the pianist, who was now determined to use her platform to raise awareness about the dangers lurking in the shadows of technology. "I won't let them win," she vowed, her voice resolute. Jason nodded, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. He understood that their fight was just beginning and that each day could bring new threats. As they walked away from the scene, Jason silently promised himself to prepare for the inevitable confrontation ahead, because in a world where danger lurked around every corner, he would always be ready to answer the call.